Hello, my friend. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jaden, and this is PathTune, where we, together, are charting a course towards the shores of your highest potential. Can I read something to you? Let me read it. So, a little bit about the channel. If you are not new, then you know. But for those of you that are just tuning in for the first time, this channel is all about how to evolve your vibrational frequency over time to match the frequency of your highest and best life path. Now, we do have the power to change where we end up, and you do this by changing yourself. You can experience a better future for yourself simply by doing this, by tuning in to your highest potential. This channel is all about sharing the information, ideas, and perspectives that will help you create your own unique personal symphony of health, wealth, love, and happiness, fulfillment, and freedom with the unique ratios of what's important to you. So if that sparks your interest, please consider subscribing and coming along as we explore this path of self-discovery with the intention of using the valuable information and ideas that we learn here together to our lives, putting those ideas to use in our lives to better ourselves in some way and the world around us. This is about using a variety of ideas from different sources to our advantage to craft a diverse, balanced perspective for yourself. And this allows you to make the best, most aligned decisions for yourself and build your level of personal awareness. Then you can use this outlook to better harness the power of your own inner creative genius, which we all have. So if that sounds interesting to you at all, I invite you to come along on this journey of your own self-discovery. So let's freaking do it. We're going to hit the bowl. That sounded different than I thought it would. That we're going to hit the bowl and we're going to clear the space. And, settle in. Clear the space, get some frequency. This is PathTune. It's all about the frequency, vibration, As Nikola Tesla said, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, you must think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. He said something along those lines. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get started. Let's take a breath. Hang out with me for a minute as we explore these ideas. Oh, and I will tell you what the video is about. The video is going to be about... It's about the beginner's mindset in addition to, and this connects back to previous videos that I did where it's a slow down to speed up, but slightly different. It's about the fact that we are always go, always doing the thing, doing the next thing. And that comes from this societal conditioning to some degree of our value being measured on our achievements. It really seems to be that way. And this is a reminder to you that your value is not measured upon your achievements. And we'll dive into what your value is really measured on. And let's go ahead and hurry and write these ideas down so we don't forget. Hello. So, your value, sorry, the bowl's in the way. All right. Your value not being measured by your achievements. We have a beginner's mindset. And please excuse my handwriting. I'm writing fast so that way we can make this video not 3 hours long. A beginner's mindset has the most... Isn't it interesting how my handwriting is like a combination between print and cursive? Valuable insights. And then we have human being. Slow down. We'll leave a blank for that. And we'll top it off with a little bit of that. Sound good? All right. We'll say today's big ideas. Cool. I'm excited. Let's go for it. So settle into the space with me. Take some deep breaths as we do this and just focus on releasing the tension that is maybe built up through your day. Release the stress, the worries, the needing to, from your ego, needing to feel like it has to have control or figure things out. Just let it all go for a minute. You can put it on the shelf. You can pick it back up later. It'll still be there. But just for this video, just hang out with me, will you? And let's do this together as we go on this journey. Because everything is better when we are together. Let's go for it. Om. We should talk about the Om sound at some point. Om. It's supposed to be like the sound of the universe. That's what the Om, A-U, Aum. There's a lot of meaning to that sound. And it's, yeah. We'll go into that in the future. But there's a reason why it's Om. One more. Just focus on relaxing your body, relaxing the muscles in your face, in your eyes, in your cheeks. Notice the tension and relax it all. And take one final breath out, will you? Deep breath. That's a Hawaiian technique. Adding the vocal to it can help. And I did get this bowl in Hawaii, so it's fitting. All right, you ready? You ready to learn some stuff? And the thing is that the real you already knows everything I'm about to say. But if you found yourself on this video and you're still watching, then there is a message in here from your higher self to you. Translated, channeled through me, but this is for you, because it's just you and me here. So, take the ideas that resonate and connect, and the ones that don't take them with you. Just leave them here. You know? Not everything is going to connect for you, but maybe there is one thing that'll really just kind of click for you in the video. So let's go for it. I'm happy you're here. How you been doing? How was your day? Yeah? It's just... yeah. The fact that we have so many things to do all the time, to work, take care of ourselves. It's like we work so much that we don't have really the time required to really take care of ourselves effectively. we end up neglecting certain things. And we prioritize because we only have so much time in the day. So it's a great goal to have, and I share this goal. You might share it with me, but to get to a point where you have more free time. You make enough money, or you earn enough money, because you don't make money, only the mint does that, but you earn money in exchange for, you get other people to give you money in exchange for value. That's how it works. So if you can increase the level of value that you add to the marketplace, then you'll naturally make more money. But a good goal that I think a lot of people share is to get to the point where you don't have to work and you can focus on doing the things you love. And the best thing to do would be able to get, or one of the most lucrative things to do would be to get a way created, or you create a way to get paid to do the things you enjoy and love. Then there's more options now in today's day and age to do that than ever before in history, in at least recorded history, because of the internet, because of technology. Technology is a double-edged sword. We want to use technology as a tool, not have technology use us. But just remember that you have an opportunity that none of your ancestors had. So, just something to think about. So today's big ideas. I'm going to start with the bottom one, because this is really something. We're all about ideas, right? Ideas can change your life if you take action and do something about it. But one thing I may as well share with you, because an idea I just wrote down that was good. Here it is. If you go through an experience and you don't let it change you, what good is it? If you go through an experience and you don't let it change you, what good is it? Everything you go through, every thought you have, every experience changes you in some way. We evolve. We're constantly growing and shifting and changing and evolving. Everything in the world is, including you. So if you don't allow an experience to change you and you resist that change, you're not evolving. You're not learning. You're not getting better. You're not gaining the experience that the experience was there for you to get. But I get it. It's easy to stay in our habits, in our known way of life. But if you learn something new, you go through the experience of learning something, of expanding your mind. If you don't let that change you in some way, change your behavior, change what you do, how you operate from that point forward, what good is spending the time to do that experience of learning or of consuming that content or those ideas if you don't use them, if you don't integrate them into your being? And that's what we are, right? We are human beings, not human doings. But in our society values productivity and achievement, especially from a capitalist perspective. Success, right? And I was all about success. I wanted to be successful. I still do. But my idea of what success is has changed. Success is not, okay, and don't let me tell you what things are or aren't, right? This is a perspective. You ultimately decide for yourself. But here's an idea. here's a perspective. Success is not getting money or getting the car or the big house or the dream relationship. Success, this is the best definition of success I've ever heard. I've ever found, I should say. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. If you decide to do something and then you follow through and you do it, then you're a success. If you're a wife and mother and you want to be a good wife and mother and create a beautiful home and a good home environment, and you work on doing that, then you're a success because you are progressively realizing a worthy ideal. You are focused, you have a goal, and you're working towards it, and that makes you a success. The man that wanted to run the corner gas station, and that was his dream, to have his own business, and he loved the coming and going of the people. He was a success when he started to work towards that dream. And it's not once you get there. That's a clear distinction I want to make. It's not once you get to the achievement or the attainment of your goal. The moment you write your goal down and begin to work towards it, you are a success. It's a different way to look at it. That comes from Earl Nightingale. And that man changed my life by changing my perspective. Completely altered my life forever. That was the catalyst. His message, which was more than just that, but that was a huge golden nugget in his message. Because it is redefining your paradigms. You know what a paradigm is? I'm sure you do. Like I was saying, this is a reminder. Because we forget. We get caught up in life, right? And you know everything deep down. You know everything that I'm about to tell you and that I'm going to share with you on this channel. But sometimes you need to hear it and need to get the idea again to trigger that, oh yeah. Because your inner self, your higher self, already knows the truth. And these ideas are trying to get close to the truth. And when you get closer and closer to the truth, it's like magnetics or magnetism, right? You trigger an idea and it's in this sphere of awareness of a higher vibration, and then that connects you to your inner knowing. But if you're consuming low vibrational ideas, low vibrational content, laughter is a high vibration, but you become what you consume. And the things that you put into your mental factory create the fabrications of your life. So please, for the love of all that is good, stand guard at the door of your mind and don't just let anything in there. Don't let anybody dump anything they want into your mind, because you've got to live with the results. Jim Rohn said that. Can you tell that these mentors have really shaped my perspective? And I'm so grateful for them. And it's amazing how Earl Nightingale and Jim Rohn are no longer in this dimension, and they still continue to change lives. That's amazing to me. So, there's a great idea for you. Redefine what success is and change your paradigm of what success is. And let's just go through real quick of what the definition of paradigm is. We'll do more videos on this. Bob Proctor is really all about this perspective, but let's just start with a simple definition, because you got to start somewhere. Paradigm definition, and we will choose, why not Cambridge Dictionary? Let's do that. All right, cool. Screen, boom. All right, paradigm. It's a noun. A model of something or a very clear and typical example of something. Some of these educators are hoping to produce a change in the current cultural paradigm. Let's do another one that's more related to you. Paradigm. An outstandingly clear or typical example or archetype. An example of a conjugation or declension. I don't even know what that word is. Showing a word in all its inflectional forms. A philosophical and theoretical framework of a scientific school or discipline within which theories, laws, and generalizations and the experiments performed in support of them are formulated. The Freudian paradigm. It's a framework. It's a model. It's an typical example. It's an archetype. What does declension mean? Inflection, especially. A class of nouns. Yeah, that's still okay. Still don't fully get that, but let's do one more. Dictionary.com. A framework containing basic assumptions, ways of thinking. There's the one we're looking for. A framework, a paradigm is a framework containing the basic assumptions, ways of thinking, and methodology that are commonly accepted by members of a scientific community. You can think of yourself, the society, as the scientific community. Such a cognitive framework shared by members of any discipline or group. Cultural norms. Your belief systems in your culture. Culture meaning your environment of people that you have grown up in. A general mental model or framework for anything. Their first album completely blew apart my paradigm for what rock music could be. So does that start to make sense? Paradigm is just a word for your belief systems, but it's more than that. It's the way you see the world. It's the way that you view reality. And that includes your belief systems, but paradigm is a higher level than belief systems. So change your life by changing your paradigms, by changing the way you view reality and yourself. And you do that by questioning everything you've learned. And what is the word? Taking an inventory of your belief systems and your paradigms through the process of self-reflection. And you take a look at all the things, the assumptions you make about reality. That's where it all starts. Because if you don't do that, then you can actually block new information from coming in because it clashes with your paradigm or your perception of what reality is and what the laws are and what is possible. And so if you believe something is not possible because you have a limited perspective and you maybe not be considering all options of possibilities, of infinite amount of possibilities, then you're limiting yourself from a greater joy, a greater experience, a more expanded version of yourself in your life. And do you really want to limit yourself? Do you want to we all limit ourselves. We're here experiencing limitation. That's why we're in the physical realm. But as we start to evolve, as we continue to evolve, because we're always evolving, right? Then you're breaking free of the chains that are holding you back from flying. And you can experience the lightness of a more enlightened point of view, a more enlightened way of living life. And that is the first step to enlightenment, is lightening up, not taking things so seriously. But it is balance. Some things are serious, but they don't have to be taken seriously all the time. But yeah, so I just thought we'd define paradigm because I think that is a necessary thing for us to be on the same page about. So we are human beings, not human doings. And although our society has programmed the need for achievement and success to feel like we are a valuable member of this society, and in order to feel like we can make our family proud, is we have to achieve certain things and get the degrees and get the high paying job and all that. That's just a paradigm. And yeah, maybe other people, including your family members and friends, have bought into that. And maybe they won't allow themselves to feel certain emotions, like pride, if you don't achieve. But since when is your life and the way you feel about yourself dictated by others? When did you give, and I'm not saying this is wrong, this is a common experience, but these are questions to ask. Like, when did I give my power away to make my feelings about myself and my life dependent, is the word I was looking for, not dependent on other people? Because the only person whose best interest is at the top of the only person who has you at their top priority should be you. Everyone is the center of their own universe. Everyone is the sun in the center of everything that they pay attention to in their whole paradigm of reality. They're in the center of their experience because they're experiencing it through their eyes and their senses and their mind. So it makes sense that everybody is selfish in that way because we experience through the self. This is a subjective experience. We are not omniscient, seeing it from above, even though part of us is, and the Most High is, which we are a part of. But as we're here in the conscious awareness of the ego and the conscious mind, it is a subjective, self-centered experience. And that doesn't need to be looked at as a bad thing. You just look at it for what it is and understand that everybody is in the center of their own universe. And so then you can apply different concepts, like how if everyone's at the center of their own universe, what would happen if I started to treat every person like they were the most important person in the world? Because as far as they are concerned, they are. That was an idea I heard probably 10 years ago. If I were to treat every person I encounter like they were the most important person in the world, because as far as they are concerned, they are. What does that mean? Well, if you start to treat people as more important, then the aspect of correspondence or the reflective nature of reality begins to mirror back to you, because your reality is you. As within, so without, as above, so below. There's a reason that's a saying, it's a way of describing the nature of reality. So what if I were to tell you, and you already know, but what if I were to remind you that your environment is a reflection of you? The way other people treat you say less about them and more about yourself and the way that you view yourself, because of they treat you a certain way by a lack of boundaries or super enforced boundaries that you have created. And often this happens on an energetic level, but the way that you view yourself, other people pick up on that on a subconscious level. Their entire being picks up on your opinion of yourself, and they will unconsciously affirm that perception you have of yourself back to you. That's an out there concept. That's an idea. That's a perspective. But I have found that to be accurate in my own life, because as I start to change the way I view myself, and this can't come from a place of fear, which an inflated ego and projection of like over to the point of arrogance. And so if you think you're just the hottest shit ever, then that is not authentic, because it's coming from a place of fear and your ego is inflating itself because of fear. So I'm not saying that if you just start to act like a douchebag, that other people will start to treat you. Well, they'll start to treat you like I am saying that. What I'm saying is that if you come from an inauthentic place where you don't do the internal work of self-discovery and self-awareness, and then healing the things and working on the things, that's how you start to change the way you look at yourself and build confidence and etc. Is actually doing the examination and then working on it. All right, I just wanted to make a side note. Just a second ago, I said it says more about you than it does about them, on how they treat you. It goes both ways, right? As everything does. So I don't want to ignore the other flip side of that, of how somebody treats you says more about them than it does about you, or how they respond, or etc., right? It goes both ways. So it says equally as much about how you feel about yourself, but it also says about them. Just felt I needed to record a second little clarification on that, because it's not just that one way. But I did want to make that distinction when I originally said it, because you don't hear it that way very often. How somebody treats you is affirming how you feel about yourself. Could be that. Maybe that's what that experience is there to teach you. But it does also say about them and what they're projecting and what they haven't healed yet. So it goes both ways. Just wanted to say that. So thanks, and continue on with the video. Also, like the video, subscribe. It helps the channel grow, and you will want to tune in to what we have in store. All right, carry on. And then as you start to learn about yourself, about reality, about the essence that is within you, that you create. You are a creator. You create your life, and you are creating your future, and you can spread love and peace and joy in this world, and then that becomes contagious, and you can uplift everything around you. You can make everybody's life lighter and better around you. You have that power. But to step into that power and to shine your light more, you have to, one of the steps, and it is an ongoing process, and that's kind of part of the evolution. But as you go, it's about letting go of the things that no longer serve you, letting go of the parts of you, the paradigms, the belief systems, the weights and the chains that are holding you from stepping into the higher version of yourself. And your dreams, your highest life path, that's what I mean by your highest life path. It's the most fulfilling, joyful, and gratifying experiences that will really make you feel whole. That is, and you may not be consciously aware of what those things are, but there is a frequency to that, and you get closer to that frequency. And when you align your frequency, when you match yourself to that, then you collapse the timelines and you can meet them, and your environment will begin to reflect the changes you've made within. And it's not about trying to change your external environment to get to a certain level in life by focusing on the money, the achievements, right? It's the human being aspect is part of the key, because if you focus on evolving your being, aka your vibration, and everything is vibration, right? Everything is frequency. Vibrational, we'll just say vibrational frequency. And in a previous video, I talked about the map of consciousness by Dr. David Hawkins, and we went into the different frequency levels, and those are arbitrary numbers based on a scale of 1,000, but it gives the idea of which frequency, which emotions carry lower or higher frequencies. And that's a very, very valuable idea, because even though the numbers may not match directly with like the actual frequency of the hertz, and hertz, is cycles per second, it is, in my opinion, it is a accurate categorization of high to low of emotions. It's like mapping the scale of the continuum of our experience. So your emotions are such a primary driver or primary influence in your frequency. And it's not about trying, and from what I've learned, the key is changing the within to have the outside reflect. When you can become the type of person that lives the life that you want to live, that is when your life will start to change. You don't become the millionaire by trying really hard to make $1 million. You become a millionaire by becoming the millionaire within, by developing the thought patterns, the habits, the belief systems, the paradigms, and the skills that a millionaire has. So if you have a goal, look at other people that have that achievement and look at their lifestyle. Look at the way that they do it. Look at the way they conduct themselves, the way that they hold themselves, the way they view about things. Watch interviews and start to take a survey of how did they change themselves to then match that version of themselves that lives in that reality. Because it takes you evolving your being to reach that new timeline that is of a higher level, because you can't just keep operating the same way you've always operated. You'll be blocked. And you might be able to make, sure, you can increase your finances and make some money, but if you don't become a millionaire internally, then you won't end up keeping the money. You'll end up losing it. And that was an idea from Jim Rohn. If you somehow win the lottery and get $1 million, best you become a millionaire pretty quick. Otherwise, you'll lose it. So with those ideas in mind, and I do have only 2% left on this tablet, so we'll try to make this wrap up rather soon. I'm astounded that we're already at 37 minutes. Time flies when you're having fun. It's a perception, right? I did a different video talking about time, but when you're in the zone, when you're in the flow, the way you perceive time starts to shift, and it can speed up, especially if you're in an elevated state, because you're vibrating really fast, and so it feels like you're moving through time fast. Anyway, so you are a human being, not a human doing. Just a reminder. Your value of yourself, which is what really matters, the way what you think about yourself when you're by yourself, is one of the most important things in this life. So working on that is a great idea. And this is a reminder to you that your value is not dependent upon the things you achieve. And I know there are different personality types, and some personality types are more driven to achieve and perform, and that's great, and you can use that to your advantage. But what happens when you're not doing that? Maybe you don't feel as good about yourself. And that's what we want to heal, because you don't need to feel bad about yourself, even if you don't think it out loud, but you just may not feel too good. Think it out loud. Even if you don't say it out loud to yourself, or you don't have the thoughts all the time, it might just be a feeling. But we want you to feel good more often. Don't you want to feel good more often? In the Abraham Hicks perspective, the more you feel good, the more good things happen. So if you can focus on feeling good, because it goes back to the vibration thing, right? If you can focus on feeling good more often, then life will begin to be lighter, and more good things will flow into your life. But this is the reminder that you don't need to be doing something all the time. You can slow down and focus more on your being. Focus on refining your being. Because we are here, and you're here with me now. And we can slow down. I don't have to be saying something every second. It's starting to be okay with the silence. Being okay with slowing down. It's a good idea. Focus on how you're feeling, how you're breathing. And that helps you connect to the present moment, which is all there is, and never was, and never will be. And that is strongly rooted in what you are, because your higher self is in the present moment. Your higher self's not in the future. The real you, it's now. It's not in the mind. It's in the awareness in the present moment. The awareness of your thoughts. Who's observing your thoughts? You notice you think a certain thought, think a certain way. You can say a certain word in your mind and you can hear it without your lips moving. There is an awareness of the observer within you that is this grander, higher level awareness that is aware of everything that you're doing. We are self-aware beings. And if you increase that self-awareness, you're accessing your own divine power, which you can then wield and begin to manifest things more intentionally into your life. And it is all through frequency, energy, and vibration. Through the lens of doing that helps you understand what's going on. Then you can make different actions, adjust the way you feel. All that stuff's really good. So you're a human being, not a human doing. We got that. Slow down to speed up. We slowed down in the video. Slow down, and when you slow down, you're able to actually make faster progress towards the things that really matter and that are really aligned with you because you slowed down and you could tune into your inner wisdom and your guidance system. But if we're always trying to get to the next thing, achieve, perform, success, and I get that. Like, I wanted to be successful, and so I studied success, and that was really a lot when I was first getting into trying to create a better life for myself. And when I realized like I could intentionally create my future, I was really focused on success. And then that changed over time and became more spiritual, because I realized over time that this life is a spiritual journey, and the real success is a spiritual evolution. It is discovering the reason you're here, and what really lights you up inside, and what fuels your fire and ignites your spark again, and then makes you feel alive. What makes you feel alive? And then that self-discovery, and then working towards your worthy ideal, and that worthy ideal can change. But picking something, what do you want more than anything else? Picking it, working towards it. That process, that journey is one of the most beautiful things in this world, because it paves the way, it paves the path for your own self-discovery and enlightenment. And as you get lighter and as your vibration becomes faster, things happen more fluidly for you. You can flow and dance with life instead of grinding and like you're trudging up a hill and it's just painful and everything is hard. Life doesn't have to be that way. You can start to flow and dance and still accomplish great things. You don't have to say goodbye to accomplishing things, right? It's just flipping the script and changing the perspective and using the new information that you learn to say, okay, what if I do start to look at it from the other lens of not only focusing on the doing, but on my being, how I show up in this moment, how I think about myself. And sometimes that's a scary thing to do because there are some things about ourselves that we've been avoiding and we don't want to confront. But the longer you avoid it, it's like quicksand. The deeper you go and the harder it is for you to come out. And you still can, no matter what. There's always a way. There is always a way. But better you start now. When was the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the second best time? Today. So, do it now. Just make a decision. Decide. Just an idea. Something to think about. All right, we have 1% on this. Let's go. Your value is not measured by your achievements. We got that. We talked about that. We're doing good. We're doing really good. Okay, last aspect of this video. A beginner's mindset has the most valuable insights. A beginner's mindset has the most valuable insights. Why? Well, when you're in a beginner's mindset, the mindset of a student, then you're open to new information. And this relates to what we were saying about the paradigms and blocking certain new information because it doesn't fit. And we will unconsciously do that. But the student recognizes that they don't know. And so they're open. And that's one of the most valuable things that you can do for yourself is to become more open. Become more willing to accept that you don't know the answers and you don't have it all figured out. And I don't. And I'm always willing to keep growing. And once there's a saying of like, what is it? The moment you realize something is the moment you realize you don't know anything. That's like a Aristotle quote or something. The moment, I don't know if it's moment you realize you don't know anything. That's not the quote, but we'll see if that comes up. Yeah, knowing nothing, but think you know everything. Ignorance more frequently begets confidence than does knowledge. Charles Darwin. Sorry, you want to see. Ignorance more frequently. That's an interesting quote. I've never heard that, but yeah. Ignorance brings confidence more than knowledge, because once you increase your knowledge, and the more you learn and the more you know, the more you realize that you don't know. The Dunning-Kruger effect occurs when your incompetence prevents you from seeing your incompetence. You don't know what you don't know. Wait, what? Why should you care? Because the world is full of know-it-alls who don't actually have any idea of what they're talking about. The more aware we become of this phenomenon, the better we'll be at deciphering the trolls spouting fake news. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. I think, what's his name? Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about that, where it's like when you know you get to a point where you learn a certain amount and then you feel like you know a lot. And there's this plateau you get to where you know just enough to feel like you know a lot, but you haven't reached the point of knowing to where you realize you don't even know a small fraction of it. And that's part of the human experience, right? We'll probably phase in and out of that sort of consciousness, and that's part of the journey. It's okay to feel confident about the fact that you've learned some stuff, but it's being aware that there's so much information and so much to learn, so many different ways to look at reality. You can't possibly ever get everything in your mind and get all the information, get all the ideas, all the perspectives, and get the 100% complete truth of everything, because that would be not experienced through the subjective human mind, because the mind would disintegrate or melt with the amount of data that is. So it's be accepting that. But yeah, the moment, the power of now quotes. Present moment's all you have. Make the now the primary focus. I mean, that's fitting. That's fitting. I've lived with several Zen masters, all of them cats. Yeah, but we got the quote, and I don't. You know when you realize, it's like a monk thing, Buddhist thing, when you know nothing. The more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. That's basically Socrates. That's what I was looking for. Socrates. True knowledge exists in knowing that you know nothing. Greek philosophy. The Socratic method. True knowledge exists in knowing that you know nothing. It's resonated through the ages. At first glance, it may seem paradoxical, counterintuitive. As we delve deeper into it, we see that it challenges conventional notions of knowledge and invites us to embrace intellectual humility. In the last video, I talked about humility, or in one of the last videos. It's the breaking point. It's the part of the spiritual transformation and awakening. It's part of the dark night of the soul that is there. That's an experience that you created and manifested for yourself to give you a little bit of humility. Socrates' assertion that true knowledge exists in understanding our own lack of knowledge can be summarized as an embodiment of intellectual humility. It serves as a reminder that no matter how much we may learn or claim to know, there will always be more to discover and comprehend. By acknowledging our own limitations and humbly accepting that our understanding is never absolute, we open ourselves up to a lifelong journey of learning and growth. This is what I was saying earlier. It is through this recognition of our own ignorance that we become receptive to new ideas, perspectives, and insights, ensuring that, hey, you changed on me. Where'd you go? I lost my place. Ensuring that we remain open-minded and adaptable. While Socrates' quote may be straightforward in its essence, its implications extend far beyond the surface level. Upon closer inspection, it becomes evident that this concept transcends any specific area of knowledge and applies to all aspects of our lives. In an ever-changing world where new information and theories constantly emerge, it is crucial to grasp the art of unlearning and relearning. This goes with everything I was talking about in this video. This is perfect. Thank you, SocraticMethod.com. This is a great way to wrap it all up. This mindset empowers us to discard outdated beliefs or preconceived notions that hinder, or paradigms, or that hinder intellectual progression. By embracing a state of self-awareness and recognizing the limitations of our understanding, we create space for intellectual curiosity and foster a sense of humility that enriches our personal and intellectual lives. Now, let us introduce an unexpected philosophical concepts to further illuminate the importance of Socrates' quote. The notion of epistemic arrogance. I'm not sure what epistemic means. Epistemic, relating to, involving knowledge. Cognitive. Oh, wow. Epistemic. All right. I like to increase my vocabulary. The notion of epistemic arrogance. So that's kind of the thing I was talking about with, like, Neil deGrasse Tyson said that, like, you just know enough to where you think you know a lot, but you haven't gotten to the point where you realize you really know not that much compared to all you could know. Epistemic arrogance can be described as the opposite of intellectual humility, an inflated sense of certainty in one's knowledge and an unwillingness to consider alternative viewpoints or possibilities. In contrast to Socrates' assertion, epistemic arrogance constricts intellectual growth and inhibits our capacity for genuine wisdom. Oh, we gotta have another note down for the video idea. This list is getting long. All right. Difference between knowledge and wisdom. And I can't even really go into that right now. I probably have to. I need to look into that and meditate on that and do some research of different perspectives on that so I can bring that back to you and we can share it and learn together. But as we're learning together right now, like, I love that you're on this journey with me and that you're willing to just hang out with me as we kind of look up some stuff and question things and dive into different concepts. It's really awesome that you're hanging out and you're here with me. And if you're enjoying this video and you're taking some value away from it, I would encourage you to share the video with somebody who might also have take some value from it or might enjoy it. Please drop in the comments one thing that really resonated with you that you've taken away from this video. And please, if you haven't subscribed already, please hit the button down below, subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell, so that way you can get a ding whenever I post something new. So that way you can watch it if you want to. You're watching stuff anyway. You may as well watch some cool ideas, and you don't even have to watch. You can listen. That's what I do on a lot of videos. I'll just listen to them while I'm doing other stuff, while I'm driving, while I'm doing the dishes, you know. Anyway, let's finish this out. When individuals fall prey to epistemic arrogance, they often become entrenched in their beliefs, dismissing dissenting opinions and rejecting new information. I said that! In doing so, they close themselves off to the potential for personal development and inhibit the advancement of knowledge. Epistemic arrogance can lead to stagnation, hindering the progress of society as a whole. It is through Socrates' quote that we recognize the perils of such arrogance and are reminded of the significance of intellectual humility, which allows for a more open and inclusive exchange of ideas. In essence, Socrates' quote underscores the importance of recognizing the limits of our own knowledge and embracing intellectual humility. It encourages us to be skeptical of our own certainties, remain open to new perspectives, and continuously seek knowledge to expand our understanding of the world. When we acknowledge that we know little, we create fertile ground for intellectual growth, fostering tolerance and enabling collective progress. In contrast, the path of epistemic arrogance stifles personal growth and hinders the advancement of society, ultimately leaving us stagnating in a pool of uninformed certainty. In conclusion, Socrates' timeless wisdom continues to resonate through the ages, offering guidance and insight into our quest for knowledge and wisdom. By recognizing the value of acknowledging our own ignorance, we embark on a journey of lifelong learning, nurturing intellectual humility and opening ourselves up to a universe of new ideas and possibilities. It is through this profound understanding that we may dismantle the barriers to progress and pave the way to a more inclusive, enlightened, and harmonious society. So let us embrace the mantra of Socrates and marvel at the vastness of the unknown, for it is in this humbling recognition that true knowledge finds its home. It was good. True knowledge exists. True knowledge exists in knowing that you know nothing. And that is why the tablet has died. That is not why the tablet has died, but that is why there's the value in the beginner's mindset. The mindset of a student. Always a student of the universe. And it's balancing that, right? That's part of the journey that I've been on, is even to get in front of this camera and to share these ideas with you. Like, I had to reach a certain point because I was so stuck in the idea of a student. I thought of myself as a student. I embraced that idea long ago, and I began to soak things up, especially when I was in college, because I recognized this is my time to learn and soak up every information I can like a sponge. And so I did that, and I just became the student. And then the years after college, it was challenging for me to start to like step into the professional and the expert, because I just know that I have so much to learn, and then there's always more to learn. So my identity was wrapped up in the idea of the beginner and of the student, and remaining that way, that it was very uncomfortable for me. For instance, when a client of mine, like a video client, would say, "Well, what do you think? What do you recommend that we do?" And I'm like, you just tell me what you want and I'll do it. But they're like, "Well, you're the video guy. Like, what do you think?" And I'm like, that was uncomfortable at first. Now I'm good at that, and I can give great recommendations. But there was that gradual transition that had to happen where on one end of the spectrum, or one side of the coin, I actually have to start. You don't have to do anything. I actually chose to start. I worked intentionally to try to start to step into the shoes of the expert. But the challenge is doing that not in a place of epistemic intellectuality, right? Or not doing it from an egoic way. I want to find that. What is that? Epistemic arrogance. Yeah. Not doing it from a form of epistemic arrogance where I'm just like faking it. I wanted it to be authentic. And so because I didn't feel like I knew enough, then it was really challenging for me. So then I just continued to just keep learning as much as I possibly could. And through that process of learning and working on myself and applying the lessons to myself and developing my understanding, then the more authentic confidence started to come. And it was a slower process. And now it's keeping this balance of like, yes, you can step into the role of an expert when it's needed and you can guide others, but it's also balancing that out to always remember the intellectual humility, like the quote we just read, but also that you are always a student of the universe and you always will be. And I like that because I love being a student. I love learning. And that's a great perspective to have, because when you have that beginner's mindset, and like I said, just another reminder, you don't have to feel like you're a beginner your whole life, but it's about the core energy of the beginner's mindset that allows you to be open to new ideas, which allows you to keep growing. But if you totally let go of that and go the other direction, complete opposite direction, then you're stopping your growth. I think it's a good way to put it. So this was great. And I love how this just plays out. And I don't really know. I just knew those three bullet points. And then together we kind of unraveled that. There's so much information just packed into some of these ideas. You can just expand on it and apply to our lives. I love information. I love exploring ideas. And I love you. I love you for being here. And thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. And I will see you in the next video.